Okay, let me know if this is a little personal, but when do you usually honor the people in your family that have been lost to the Holocaust?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I really didn't think about it that much as a child. You know, I knew that my mother had her brother's photograph on her dresser her entire life. And every night when she went to bed, she said her prayers and, you know, looked at her picture of her brother Max that died in the very last days of the Holocaust in a concentration camp, in one of the marches. But when I went to, I had two experiences, one in Czechoslovakia and the other one in France, where I went into a building I didn't know was going to be there and ran into pictures of my relatives, names of my relatives on the wall. One was in Prague. The first one was in Prague. I went to the Jewish section of Prague with a friend just to go through it when we were in Prague one day. And I went into this old synagogue in the old Jewish section. The Germans were going to get rid of all the Jews, but then they wanted to have a museum to show what Jewish life had been like in the old days. And so this very, very old section of Prague, which had synagogues from the Middle Ages in it, and a graveyard from the Middle Ages, and older, or up from there, had all these buildings, and we were going through there, but not on a tour, just on our own. And I walked into this one building, which was a synagogue, and I thought it was going to be a regular synagogue, but what it was a memorial to the people that had died in the Holocaust. And the minute I walked in, I knew that my grandparents' names would be on that wall. And I found 37, my maiden name was Diamant, Diamond, and I found 37 diamants on one part of the wall. And so figured they were all my relatives. And then when I was in France, this other friend and I were walking, and we had been to the deportation memorial, which is down on the river, where they have a memorial with candles. It's a glass case, and then they have candles all for every one of the Jews that were deported out of Paris, out of France. And we decided to go eat in the Jewish deli. So we went into the Jewish section of Paris, and as we were walking down the street, I don't even know where we were. We didn't know exactly where we were, just knew we were going that direction. Walked by this building, and it said Shoah on it. And Shoah is the Jewish name for Holocaust, because nowadays we call Darfur and Rwanda and all these other horrible things that are happening around the world, Holocausts too. So distinguish what happened to the Jews in the Second World War from the other horrible things that have happened. The name Shoah is used, which is a Jewish word for it. And this building said Shoah, and it had Holocaust books in the window. It was a big building. So I said to my friend Jill, well, let's go see what this is. And so we walked around to the back and went through all the security and walked into this courtyard. And in this courtyard were these tall concrete pillars, and each one had a date on them, 1933, 1934, 1935, all the way up to 1945. So I knew exactly what was going to be. The names of the people that died in the Holocaust in France, and I knew my uncle would be on there. And my friend Jill was Jewish, and so she said Kaddish, which is a German, Jewish prayer for the dead, while we were there. Other than that, we have a memorial in Washington Park now called the Holocaust Memorial, and on it is the names of all my dead relatives. And so that's how we're honoring them in different ways. And then every year there's a Yom HaShoah is the day of memory of the dead that died in the Holocaust, and we always have one of the synagogues always invites everybody there for a big program, and we all light a candle We light 6 candles for the 6 million Jews that died, and 1 candle for the 4 million other people that died every year in April for Yom HaShoah.